Allow me to stop the game, to pause the game, to talk about another important change that gave us a lot of work, and I think that you will notice. In the first Lords of Shadow, we had to restrain ourselves when we were writing the story. There was a reason. We knew right from the start that we would not have an animation that would express the facially what we wanted to express. So so we wrote the script in a way so that the characters would not need too much of expression. Why? Because we followed a procedure of capture, which was the face on the one hand, and an actor who expresses with his whole body, and then in addition with his face and voice, is one thing. But then, let's say if you're sitting in a chair, but if you move, you spoil it. So, but you have to imagine what face to put with the animation of the body. It's very complicated and it takes a very long time. So finally, it is better to have not too much expression in the characters because they would be ridiculous. And then it costs you so much of manual animation work. But so when you have a delivery day, and a publisher who is behind you saying, hurry up and finish it, you have to work in this way. So for this project, we knew that we didn't want to work like this, and we wanted a facial animation that was good. So we wanted to capture the body and the face at the same time. Of course, there are certain space restrictions because cameras the cameras that can do this have to be at a certain distance from the actor. And when a character has to walk more than 10 meters, we couldn't do it because the area we were limited to was 5 meters. So there are scenes in the game where 3 or 4 characters, one comes from one side, the other from the other side, one jumps in. So this is all very entertaining to resolve, a long time. But the advantage we have is that with very little, the characters are very expressive. So I want you to see a small sampling of what Dracula does.
We can take it. God. What a timely coincidence. I'm dying for a little drop of blood.
Okay, before we carry on, let me talk about another of the important changes that we've made. I spoke to you about that free camera to explore. That's all very good. But the true problem for a hack and slash is the combat. How on earth are you going to get the player to play without touching the camera? And at the same time, you want to give an idea of action as well as strategy, tactics. The best is to take the camera, put it very close to the player, and you save a lot of problems. One is the enormous problems of collision. The camera is a character in itself. People don't realize it, but third-person games are far more complex to make than first-person games. In the first person, you have the camera and you can move it and you can go wherever you want. But in third party, you have different characters. The camera, that is. So the playing area changes radically. In a first person, the spaces can be small, but in a third person, it's as if you had one character who is the size of an elephant. You have this whole radius is for your character. So you have millions and millions of problems of collision. So when in hack and slash, the areas of combats are isolated and empty. So you have a passage, then and 4 walls, then another passage to explore, then an area of combat. Why is this so? Because in video games, the best technique to resolve a problem is not to have the problem. It's better that than trying to resolve the problem. So it's reasonable to do it. So we chose. Just a minute. I hope this. Okay, yes. Oh dear, we are starting all over again. Okay, I will carry on explaining and stop it at the point we got to. So it's very complicated to have a hack and slash with a free camera at a certain distance from a character. Why at this distance? Because we want the player to know who is around. I need to know who I'm going to attack. So I have to see. So that's easy. I have to face the camera to the enemy, but I have to know if there's somebody behind me. Normally, when the camera is very close to the character, there's a very simple solution. The enemies who are not in the within the camera's range, you will not be receiving unfair shots from the back. All games do this. Now, what we don't want to play like this. What we want is that the player is aware of who is around him all the time. So you are going to see all of what I have explained very quickly. Okay, let's go. Now, of course, this is a tutorial, so there are lots of interruptions to kind of teach you and emphasize the important aspects of the game. Now, defense is crucial. Now, the hack and slash in Lords of Shadow stands on 3 pillars. Okay, it's you can attack and you can hide away. You can. But this is very advantageous, and you can really use it to your advantage. Look, I am not using the camera at all. The game is positioning the character where the character has to be. Just see how with this camera I have a very good view of what is around me, not just the enemy who's surrounding me, but I can see who is coming from behind me. You can't imagine how many months we spent working, developing this camera. Look at if the character is with his back to the wall, it's not the same. So, but here you have to focus on designing and constructing. You have to have it smooth transitions. And so we had lots of problems to resolve. Another important consideration, a difference, something that differentiates this game from the others is that artificial intelligence is more intelligent today. That is, they act based on what has happened, then they can react. Of course, in reality, they're not intelligent. So we have gone deeper this time, and we are varying the behavior depending on what the player does. Now, the camera is doing everything by itself. I'm not moving the camera. If I could move the camera, if, let's say, if I want to run away, I can do it. If this window is open, I can go away. But at this moment in the game, we are teaching the player. It's a tutorial. But later on, when you're playing it, you will decide for yourself. The player will decide. So I can I can continue or I can leave. And the camera is always with me. Now, more differences. Now, those of you who played Lords of Shadow 1, you know that Gabriel Belmont had one single weapon that he could improve with two elements, light and dark. So this play with light and dark was much liked by the players because it offers you some tactile possibilities, because depending on which tool you use, which weapon you use, you have certain benefits. Now the key is that the resources I need, I have to achieve it. How? By playing a good game. So this is how players feel compensated when they do it well. So what I wanted was, in this game, I wanted a few more weapons that were similar but would have their own aesthetics and their own gameplay. So here's the first one. This sword is capable of vampire capabilities. It can take the life of the enemies. Look at the life bar, and you can see what is being gained. Now, the energy of this weapon, which is that blue bar, we don't want to paralyze the player, but when the tutorial is over, that bar, which is going down, this does not regenerate itself. So, but to regenerate it, you need magic, and the magic is playing well. So it's very playable, very easy to play. And for those who want to play like this, they are motivated permanently, and they are immediately rewarded for playing well. So this is just to show you the capacities of this weapon. The camera doesn't stop. I can also defend and I can counterattack. This cannot be blocked. So let's cut to another part. And now you will see the second weapon that we have designed for Gabriel. Now this is to break defenses that this dear enemy is showing us. Let us see. And it works just like the other one with your own resources, with his own resources. You will see the corresponding bar on the right-hand side. In this tutorial, you don't hear it, but